We're live. Michael! Welcome to the show.
Welcome back.
Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We are live. Welcome to the show. The 180 Way Show live November 23rd, 2022. We are live. Jack Stein, your host.
Mike Denker, the futurist.
Yes. I love it's changeover time. Welcome to the show. Everybody's doing great. Hope you're getting ready for Thanksgiving. Appreciate your time and energy. We're so excited to be back in the process as we endeavor to make big things happen, get ready for earlier 2023. And so we're going to talk about managing from home and the impact that has had. So many people talk about work from home, but that's really not the issue. The real issue is manage from home. That is the issue that is really troubling a lot of companies. It is the issue that no one talks about, no training, right? It's the thing we hear most about, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's interesting that when we talk about all the different things about being virtual, e-teams, e-leading, telecommuting is the old term, but it's an oldie but a goodie. But all these things lead up to everybody's talking about how to function as a worker, how to function as a teammate, how to function as a contributor. It's not a lot out there about how to manage from home, and it's getting the most out of the folks, right?
Yeah, they send all these people home, and they say, you go manage from home with no additional training. So that's what we're going to jump in today. The channel is how to communicate. And so before we do that, Thanksgiving plans, Mike? What do you got going? What you got? You going
little this year? It's all kind of moving around. But it'll be me, Angel, my son Jake, and his girlfriend Lexi. Hopefully there'll be like a breakfast interlude with my grandchildren and my daughter Madeline. And next week I get to see my other daughter. She's coming into town. It's having all of us in one house at the same time is going to be rare for the rest of my life, I think. But it makes every time special.
Well, listen, have a great Thanksgiving with them. My family already did Thanksgiving up in the Maryland area a week ago. So I've already moved on to Christmas. We already did our family Thanksgiving. My family, a lot of them work in retail. So Thanksgiving Day never works with Black Friday, the follow-up. So they're all out. So we already did that. I'm in Florida now. We're already Christmas decoration, but we've already moved on to the holidays. So it is what it is.
We set up the tree yesterday. The tree is up, undecorated, but it's built. It's got the lights built in. And so I don't know what that comments on our stage in life, but the lights are built into our tree and we love it.
You're ready to go? I love it. Listen, for those of you go out and buy a fake tree. The lights are in it. It's amazing. Please do that. I told somebody here locally where I am, I'm like, go out and get a tree. It's amazing. My wife and I were arguing over white lights or colored lights. Now you can get a tree that you do both. Rotates through them. We're super happy. Had an argument over nothing. So, hey, listen, I want to thank i.help for sponsoring the show. If you're unaware, i.help is the platform of the future, aggregating all of your stuff online, whatever web conferencing system you're using, it'll aggregate all of your online scheduling, all of your social media, transfer large files, e-payments, everything happens. i.help will aggregate that for you. Amazing platform. Cannot recommend them enough. Instead of you sending 10 emails or all your links to social media, they'll literally aggregate all that one spot. You can go to jacksiney.com. All your stuff is there. i.help/Jack. Everything's there. $5 a month. Go get i.help. Amazing platform. You see the URL below. They give you the first month for free. Amazing platform. Go get your i.help account. Everyone will have one. And then you'll be irritated if you don't have your right URL, and then you'll have to use some other like the Jack, and no one wants to do that. So go get your i.help account. Yes.
You're done.
Appreciate them sponsoring the show. Great. So, today when we talk about manage from home, right? Again, just to reiterate, it is everyone is aware of work from home, quiet quitting, the great resignation, all this stuff people are super aware of, but really no one talks about managing from home, right? They just don't. We literally were like, oh, you're a good in-office manager, and now you're managing a completely work from home or mostly work from home workforce. And it's a lot of challenges with little to no additional training. And that's been a super big struggle for a lot of companies for the past year.
It's almost like a blind spot because people go from, so we went to the office where we were productive, we were at a level of production from our company and our team, and then we moved out into working from home. And if production went down, it said, oh, it must just be the fact that we're working from home. It can't be that we don't know how to manage from home. It just means, oh, people just don't work well from home. It's like, well, so let's bring them back because we were so good in the office. But what's really interesting is that there's some truth. If you don't figure out how to manage from home, you do have to bring them back to the office.
Yes.
But there's so much upside to working from home and managing from home that productivity does go up. People are more loyal. You will maintain your status as a great place to work, because if you don't at least have a hybrid workforce, you will not be considered a great place to work in 2023. It's not going to happen because the top performers, those ones that are independent, right, know how to work from home. Well, guess what? They're like, why do I have to come back to the office?
I say it all the time. It's like flying first class, right? Once you've flown first class, it is very hard the next flight to go back into coach. It's like, whoop. And that's what a lot of people are dealing with now. Like, just being very open. I was not a fan of the go work from home or can we have a split schedule hybrid for our company? It wasn't. It's hard to do things, build culture, accountability, do some training. But now that folks have been there for some time, there's not a person I've met that says, oh, yeah, you know what I want to do? I want to go back to the office full time. Now, some people miss their coworkers and limited, and can we have lunch or hybrid? But I've not met a person yet in the last year and a half that's like, oh, yeah, what I want to do is go back full time to the office. So it is, as Mike just said, figuring out what works for you and your company so that we're able to keep the best hybrid, at least hybrid or some mixed model. And so the first dynamic that we're going to talk about is this kind of the communication channels, right? And that's really our first topic, Mike, right, as we did on this framework, right, Mike?
Well, yeah, and it's critical because if you don't, you just need to be intentional about your communications, because on the others, whoever's receiving this communication is going to be interpreting your message, but they also interpret the message according to the channel in which it was sent. A Slack comment versus a comment made on a Zoom call versus a comment made on a text message. Those all convey different weight, different formality. And so within those rules, we need a map, right? We need a little map on navigating. And so I think that there's different. We all need it, right? Whether we're a digital native or a digital adapter.
Hold on. I got one.
All right. Well, the digital native, right? They were born inside the digital world. It's all natural. They don't have to think twice about it. They're the guides now. To those of us that are digital adapters, right? We needed a map. We need an extra class. We're still YouTubing on what is the Twitter, and so because of that, as we adapt, we can learn and become very effective in the digital age. But there are things that the digital natives just know, right? They just know, and we're learning. But there's also some things about communication and clarity and brevity and professional communications that some of the adapters may have spent more time learning those skills than some of the digital natives. And so,
no doubt, like as we go into look at these, one of the biggest attributes we talk about when the manage from home is what channel are you communicating with, and each one of them has a different urgency, right? And so I think what a lot happens with most people that are managing from home, however it was sent to them, they send it back that way. And so the first thing we want to talk about when managing from home is like picking the right channel, because they all have a different urgency and a different kind of when you should respond. And again, what most people do in manage from home is however they got it, they give it back that way.
Well, it's amazing, Jack, that I saw a text message. I don't know all the acronyms on texting, but one of them was too long, did not read. And it was really interesting, like, why, sent that back in a text, the text was too long or the email was too long. And it's a cry to be more brief in our conversations, right? It's a cry to change the way we communicate. And what's really interesting, Jack, is that these different channels, they all have different meanings to different people, even if you're different demographics as far as where you live, different demographics as far as your age group. And so depending on which one, which your group is made up of, it may be best, instead of trying to everyone figure out everyone else, is to determine maybe some ground rules for communication for your team. And so with those ground rules, maybe there's some things we need to do, like, maybe there's some acronyms that we use for our team. Maybe there's some things that we use for our team that maybe we have rules where we don't use emojis, or that we do use emojis, right? That the emojis are the symbols, right? I grew up in an age where we did not have very few symbols in our language, right? And the way we communicated, like which one's the men's room and which one's the women's room, and maybe what a stop sign looks like. But most of our lives are defined by, words and complete sentences. And now it's a totally different age where communication has been made more succinct, briefer, but sometimes too brief, right? Where in the opposite of the too long did not read, how about too brief did not understand, right? I need more information. And so in that need for more information, maybe if the teams set up some ground rules, maybe the ground rules could be, we don't use these things, or we use these things, or this is how we communicate, or some teams have gone so far as say this emoji means this. It's for this. It's going to tell you that this is just a lighthearted message. Another emoji will tell you this is important for the project we're working on. Another emoji will say this is logistical. Another emoji might be this is a policy message. And so it's literally, you can search your messages by emoji in some organizations. And so there's a lot of opportunity to create a good, strong plan. But within that plan, you need to make some decisions. If you leave it to chance, you open yourself up to misunderstanding, confusion, and actually a weakening of the trust that you've been working so hard to form and maintain within your organization. We all want to have a high trust organization, but miscommunication and confusion tear away at that. And so because of that, we want to make sure that we do everything we can to choose the right channels, help our teammates understand why all of us are choosing the channels that we're choosing for which purpose. And we have a little bit of a roadmap for that, a roadmap because I am a digital adapter. And then also just to break down the barriers between, whether it's different ages, different cultures, different nationalities, different time zones, different communication styles that are driven by so many different factors. If we establish the language of our team, and the language being not English or Spanish or German, the language of our team would be, we format messages this way, we work towards our messages another way. And so as we work through these things, what would be the right way for us to communicate this type of message? If it's a detailed message, should that be on a text? Probably not. That would be more effective in an email. If it's urgent and you want to express urgency, should that go out an email? Probably not. Probably a text or a group chat, whatever app your company has adapted for that, whether it be Slack or Microsoft Teams. That online messaging that's asynchronous, it's always there, and there's no real timing or scheduling to it. It's just everybody has an opportunity to communicate at any given time to the rest of the team or part of the team. And then when should you pick up the phone? You should pick up the phone when you need to have a one-on-one conversation with someone, and especially if there's been any sense on either side of misunderstanding or confusion, because that's why we communicate, to transfer a message from one person to another. And we've all played that game, telephone, where you whisper the message into one ear, and then that person whispers it into the person next to him, and it goes around the whole room. And it's always a good laugh of how discombobulated that message became as it went through the room, and how it's now something completely different. It's the epitome of lost in translation. But sometimes it's not lost in translation, it's lost in channel selection. It's lost in tone. It's lost in whether you used an emoji or you didn't use an emoji, or did you seem nice or did you seem mean? Did you seem clear or did you seem vague? And as a leader, if you're leaving communication to chance, and in your brevity, right, to seem to like fit in, you don't give enough information for your team to drive the performance you're looking for, and to drive the results that your organization needs from your team. You need to adapt to that. And how do you adapt? You design it, right? And so in that design effort, we came up there. I saw one team that came up with an acronym WINFY, WINFY. And the WINFY acronym is what I need from you. And so it just within, they would never use that outside of their team, but within their team, they use that to communicate quickly. And like, I'm sending you a request for your input. I'm sending a request for you to do this part of your role or of the project sooner than later. I need, with time frames, but it's saying this message needs action. And so WINFY is something some teams might adapt to say, hey, listen, I'm not sending this message. I'm not going to spend a lot of time being nice or cordial. Our team has adapted. When you see WINFY, it's just a call to action, and we'll catch up later to socialize. But now it's just a move to make things happen for the team. So WINFY can be adapted. Emoticons to set up different types of message, or emojis to set up different kinds of messages. If I use emoticon and that's the old language, I apologize. But using different symbols or symbology to communicate quickly thoughts and organizations that are meant specifically for your team, so that they gain that understanding. There's a lot of different things you can do within your organization. One of the things that's out there as far as working from home is what we're struggling with right now on our podcast today. What happens when the internet goes down? What happens when you lose one of your channels? How do you adapt? Well, that could be put into a plan as well. That maybe next time this happens on our podcast, we switch over, and one of us goes to whoever lost the internet connection, tries to see if we can pick up a cellular connection from our phones, and not perfect, but better than a black screen with a spinning wheel. These are all things that we put into our plans as we adapt and grow, right? So we make a plan for our communications. We run through our communications with our team, and then we check to see, hey, did this methodology create good clarity and good understanding, or did it create confusion and misunderstanding? Well, let's make some adjustments. Let's make some adjustments to the way we're using that channel. Or there might be a channel that your team decides not to use. That's okay also. There's a lot of things you can do to adapt, to make sure that your communications, right, after you and now adjust, right, make those changes, and then just keep working through what's the best way for us to communicate on our team. Anytime there's miscommunication or misunderstanding, or someone does a lot of extra work when the request was really for just a little bit, like, hey, could you help, instead of saying, help me with the bullet points on slide number 2. There's 2 bullet points there. I'd like you to help me better develop. Instead, sending the entire PowerPoint and saying, hey, I need a little bit more research to better develop the presentation. Well, you missed the point where you only needed the team picks up and builds out the entire presentation, research, extra work, spent over the entire weekend, maybe in man hours, could have spent 30, 40 hours of additional time, when all you really wanted another couple of, maybe a couple of references to help build out the research for those 2 bullet points on slide number 2. And so there's a lot to kind of drive what we're doing in our communications as far as adapting and then making better communications over time. And another thing that happens is that when you're adapting to your communications and you're adjusting to make it work best for your team, as you make the strategies, one of the things that's really, really important is communication, like I mentioned earlier, can really affect the level of trust in your organization. And as a leader, you're always striving and trying to uh, create a trusting environment. But then as you work, you've got to nurture and maintain, right? You've got to protect that trust. And so if you send out a vague communication that is open to a lot of interpretation, in a high trust organization, that's probably a non-event. Somebody probably feels comfortable calling you back, checking in, asking for more clarity. But in a low trust environment, that could create anxiety in your team. That could create more mistrust in your team. And it could also have your team working a lot of extra effort on the wrong project, right? So as managers, whether we're at home, from home, or in the office, our job is to help our teams perform at their optimum, right? Which means each individual on a team performing at their optimum. And so anything we can do to create smoother, cleaner, clearer paths from where we are to what we're trying to accomplish as a team is what the manager from home is trying to accomplish. And communication is the critical instrument in making that happen. And so as we work hard to better our communications, I feel I just want to laugh because we're talking about two-way communications, and I feel like I'm in a podcast with a one-way communication right now. But I know that hopefully you're listening and growing, and understand, just appreciating Jack's frustration as he sees what's happening on her screen is just black. He's not seeing he's not seeing my square or his square, which could happen in communications. And so having that backup plan, which we will have next time, because we're going to we planned this show. We're doing the show, but then after the show, we're going to check and then optimize our performance for the future by adapting. And so plan, do, check, adjust, or plan, do, check in our way is optimize and make the most of the opportunity. So in communication, there's many channels. And because there are many channels, you have to pick the channels and agree as a team which are the best channels for which situation. If it's a one-on-one communication that's more than just a quick, brief message, probably pick up the phone and communicate clearly so that your tone and your words, as well as your energy, can be expressed more effectively through the phone. A video call should be reserved for more than two. We need to communicate. May have some visuals, but that's usually for more than one person, because it infers that it's a team meeting. Now, one of the things we'll cover later is don't invite your entire team to every meeting, because if they're not supposed to be there, you're either detracting from their performance or they may potentially detract from your meeting because they'll realize there's no need for them to be there. And so to build morale, make sure the right people are in the right meetings and make sure you're holding the right number of meetings. Don't over meet. So we covered the phone, one-on-one, video calls, more than two. And then also texting has a sense of urgency to it, right? That let's make something happen. I need your attention at this right now. But now sharing information that needs to be referenced later or detailed information, that should be reserved for email, right? Because an email is not only is it give you room to be more purposeful and more purposeful and also more detailed, with attachments and explanations and videos and whatever else it is to clarify your message and what needs to be shared. Email is powerful for that. Whereas your online chat app, whether that's Slack or something else, is the right way to go with and so is the right way to go when you're just trying to make comments or move, just give levity to the team as they're working through. Jack, are you back? You're on mute right now.
Oh my Lord. How was the show? How was the show?
Oh, it's Mike being a little bit long-winded, I think. But if this was a channel, this would have been a phone call or a very long email, probably TLDNR, too long did not read. But we covered a lot, Jack. I know you're very frustrated at this point, and digitally adapting. I told everybody we'd have a better plan for this next time. We have an alternate plan B somehow. But
it's been fine ever since I got here. Just Murphy's Law. Any of these graphics you'd like me to show, Mike? Have you any of these graphics?
Show up the one that's 1 through 6, because that's what we were just going through, Jack. The which channel to use when, a little bit of a cheat sheet.
Yes. Well, stand by. That's not queued up either. But stand by. I got it. Man, what? Well, whatever. No comment.
So we covered the phone, we covered the video chat, we covered Slack or whatever our internal chat app is, we covered email, and we covered texting. And so your chat app's casual, texting is urgent, video call is 2 or more. Well, actually more than 2. I should say now 2 or plus, it's +2, 2 or more. And then one of the things in the digital age that is undervalued is the phone. That sometimes the phone is the most effective way to communicate with you're managing from team with your teams that are working from home. And so to have a clear message that your tone is understood, your attitude and your energy is understood, nothing's more effective than a phone. And actually studies say the phone call could be more effective in being heard than a video call, even though we feel like, oh, in the video call, I see you. But we take too many of the tones and things for granted on video calls, according to the studies. So there's a lot to consider, but we were able to break it down into 5 points, Jack.
Oh man, I can't even. I'm just gonna let you. Why don't you rap? Why don't you rap the show? Wrap the show with whatever great advice you gave. I'm gonna let you. Here we go. Look, here we go. Oh, has it been on? There you go. Go ahead. It's all you. Do your thing.
Well, I would just say that as you manage from home, communications is the most critical tool, right? It's what your team hears and understands from you as the leader. And so you have many channels to choose from, 5 general channel selections. Decide for your team and communicate to your team what each channel is for and which channels is appropriate. And when one channel creates misunderstanding or miscommunication in some way, how should you adapt? What should be your next option? How should you pick up the phone? Should you write an email instead? But that's a clear plan that fits on half a sheet of paper on how to set up a plan for these are the channels. These are how we use them on our team. And when one turns out to be ineffective, here's how we adapt.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I thought today's show was one of the best, most insightful, well-rounded shows we've ever had, especially about managing from home and the correct communication channel to use for what the topic is.
It's funny, Jack. When I took freshman English and business English, my business teacher said that my writing teacher said, "You are Faulknerian," and I'm like, "What is Faulknerian?" And so Faulkner is a guy that just wrote sentences that were like paragraphs, right? And so, but I learned the other day that Faulkner won the Pulitzer and the Nobel Prize for Literature, so not bad as a freshman in English. But I felt very Faulknerian in our show today. A lot of long sentences.
It's interesting. I didn't even know if you were still in the air. So all my stuff went down. Then I came back and I see the counter still going. So I assume you were still doing your thing. I literally just text your house. I'm like, somebody let me know when Mike's done. I'll end the show. So I'm sure today's show was great. I will go watch it on my LinkedIn feed. Oh, cool. Well, listen, that was our first foray into the Florida Northern unstable internet connected pre-holiday Murphy's Law, whatever could go wrong, went wrong. And it's a perfect example of the manage from home challenges, right? It's like all sounds great. You could have it all teed up and it goes south. But the show must go on. So appreciate you carrying the ball, Mike. I'm sure it was wonderful.
Jack, we have so much to be thankful for.
Amen.
And, any bit of this technology is worthy of thanks. And so today was different. And but I appreciate you, and I'm so thankful for all the folks that endure us.
Yes. Listen, sincerely, again, everything that happens to us is small stuff. And so just want to wish everybody a super happy Thanksgiving. Amazing. We get to live in the most wonderful place, and just so thankful. Again, most of the things we happen that we get frustrated by are really small, super small in the grand scheme, and just encourage you to really enjoy all the things we take for granted each day, because when your car doesn't start, when your health's not well, you realize you're like, so just enjoy all the things that we take for granted, waking up, car, health, family. And so have a great, great long Thanksgiving weekend. Amen.
Amen.
All righty. Well, until next time, Lord knows when that's going to be, ideally next Wednesday, and we'll still be in the end of November. We got 3 days. So we got one more November show in us. God willing, I'll stay connected the whole time. Until then, we are
in the name of